In this episode of the Exploring Information Security podcast, what is BSides St. Louis?
Computers now have primary control of critical functions.
Houston, recommend vector transfer.
Your go for APU shutdown on time.
Roger, go for deploy.
Nice to be in orbit.
Welcome to the Exploring Information Security podcast, where you will learn, explore, and grow your security mindset. I'm your host, Timothy D. Block, and in this episode, we'll be getting into what is BSides St. Louis. With me to do that is organizer Ben Miller. Show notes can be found at exploresec.com/EIS. Feedback for the show, timothy.dblock@exploresec.com. You can hit me up on LinkedIn. Please rate it on your favorite podcast platform because that helps grow the show. So we've got a great event coming up. It's another one with Ben, where we're going to unravel the SharePoint vulnerability 0-day that came out several weeks ago. This is like a live recording, so I'm gonna start doing this as like a meetup. If you'd like to join the live recording and participate, you're more than welcome to. Go to exploresec.com and click on the community button, and that'll tell you how to get to our Discord channel and get you connected to our mailing list, which will then get you the invite for the actual recording. This is something I'm trying. As I mentioned too, we've decided to do Discord. We were on Slack, but we're on Discord now. Well, so I guess I should talk a little bit about that. I started up a local user group called Colosec. I have taken that over, and that is now ExploreSec. So we are starting to create a community around ExploreSec itself. And if you want to participate, like I said, exploresec.com, and then go to the community. Of course, also check out BSides St. Louis. It's a great event out in the St. Louis area, which is also why they're on the show to talk about the conference. So we kind of get into it a little bit of everything. It's September 27th at the Washington University McKeevely School of Engineering. So if you've never been to a BSides event and you're in the St. Louis area or somewhere near there, I would highly recommend it. That's as you'll hear, that's kind of how I grew my career and started getting connected within the industry, and it really opened the door for a lot of opportunities for me and kind of put me where I'm at today. But I guess I also didn't finish wrapping up about the event. I kind of scattered on that. But if you go to meetup.com, and I'll put it in the show notes here, there's an ExploreSec group, and we are doing this event on August. Why is this not showing up? Oh, there it is. August 19th from 5:30 to 7:30. Like I said, it'll be a recording. It'll be a podcast later on that you can listen to. So with that, I think I've kind of covered everything. Let's just go ahead and get right into it.
I mean, studying Stoicism, I like to take it as an opportunity to just kind of look around, right? Even if I am, bored.
You are the second person in 2 weeks to bring up Stoicism here lately. I just went to Gen Con with a buddy, and him and I, we're just talking basic philosophy and psychology and whatnot. And he was talking Marcus Aurelius and what is it? The slave that
Epictetus, yeah.
Epictetus, yes. And so it's just like, wow, okay, maybe I should look more into the Stoics. It's just not an area of philosophy that I've ever studied. So
Ryan. Yeah, well, Ryan Holiday has a lot of really good books, and he's kind of one of the top guys that writes on this kind of stuff on a regular basis. And I've even prescribed to the fact of, you kind of are who the people, it's like the five friends, but it's also who do you go to online for, reading advice and learning and other stuff, and that can kind of reflect on you. So I try to read his stuff as regularly as I can, because I am definitely a person that will get fired up, or I'll get bored and I need to do something. And going even today, like, I'm not perfect with my phone. I still pull up my phone and I'm like just scrolling through. Even I've gotten rid of most social media, but it's like I'm still just scrolling through email or YouTube, and I'm like, wait, what am I doing? So it's a tough thing to get away from that device. But yeah, the Stoicism stuff has definitely helped me understand. It's like, it's kind of okay to be bored and just sit with your thoughts. And so that's another thing is like when I'm writing home or something, I just want to be able to decompress from the workday or wherever I'm going, or even, just if I'm chewing on something in life, and just use that opportunity instead of pulling out my phone.
That sounds like Yes, that is more what I need to do.
Yep. Yep. But we're not here to talk about stoicism and all that. But we are talking about BSides St. Louis. So what's going on with BSides?
Yeah. So, BSides St. Louis is a passion project of myself and a few other people who literally we saw the overall good that can be done of having basically a free to cheap conference for beginners and people transitioning into security to come to, because not everybody can go to, it's Hacker Summer Camp while we're recording this right now, right? Like everybody's out at Black Hat and DEF CON and whatnot. And those tickets, they're not cheap. I feel like, back in the day, it was a little easier to just sneak in, is the stories that I was told by some of the more ancient wisdom people, but not everybody can do that. And so literally what happened back in 2015 after some really good experiences in my former place of work with ShowMeCon that you and probably most of your audience is well acquainted with, I saw that there were people that could make it to ShowMeCon, and it was very much a business and hacker conference. And it's just a really unique audience, and I love it to death. And I wanted to kind of, probably for vain reasons, also have a conference, and I wanted to make it, more for the people. The phrase that I came up with one of my co-founders was, bringing the interested to the connected, right? I've been doing security for 15 plus years now. Ow, I feel old. And a lot of people in the area. St. Louis has a really vibrant security culture. We're kind of connected. We know, how to get jobs. We know kind of how things work and problems that arise. And I wanted to give some of that knowledge in a very free way, taking from, we have a city sec kind of meetup, STL sec, the DEF CON clubs and 2600 clubs, and just, bring that about. So we're going to be, doing I believe this is the 7th time over, almost 10 years. We're going to be having our conference in September 27th, and we're going to be at Washington University. It's one of the buildings in the McKelvey School of Engineering area. And I cannot remember the name of the actual building that we're in, because WashU has so many different buildings, and they're all named after, awesome people that nobody really knows.
What that motto was, bringing the interested to connected again?
Yeah, bringing the interested to the connected. That is literally, I think it's on the website somewhere.
I mean, I love that. Like, I do absolutely love that. And I think like that's kind of the essence of B-Sides, right? Is it's meant to be kind of a more low bar to entry. ShowMeCon is not cheap. But B-Sides is, are you guys charging?
So this year what we're doing is a donation, because we are a 501(c) charity.
Mm-hmm.
If you want a t-shirt and some other stuff, if I remember, I'm not handling that part of it this year. So we put a charge in just so that we had accurate numbers for what to order for food, kind of thing. We are always, if you walk in and you can't afford the $25, or various organizations can't do that donation for other reasons, just come out. We're not going to turn people away just because they don't have a ticket.
Mm-hmm.
The tickets are there so that we can estimate things. We're not trying to make money for this. It is a charity. Lots of our sponsors, I follow the idea of, hey, we're security conference. We don't sell your personal information. We don't hand it to the sponsors, and they know that when they sign up and do their donations. So there is a charge on our tickets page if you go to Ticket Tailor for our actual tickets, but don't worry about that too much. And if it was easy and simple for me to just say, here, donate what you can and pay $0, we would have done it that way. But apparently all the software out there for handling tickets do not like working that way. So so a business idea for somebody, if you want to put together something that makes that a little bit easier to handle money, handle tracking, and allow you to do the no, I can't afford easily type setup.
Well, I'll say for anybody listening, if you can't afford the $25, I will pay for I will pay for your $25.
I have made the same comment, and then the problem with that is you get taken advantage of, and then there's a big old bill, and we won't talk about. Well, no, we will talk about, just because it's one of my favorite stories. The me hosting the after party myself for the first BSides STL, and mysteriously, air quotes, a keg was purchased. And yeah, that was everybody had a great time drinking the beer out of that keg. And yeah, I didn't pay for tickets for the event, but I paid for the after party.
Well, yeah, within reason. If I mean, if I get like 1,000 people, we might have to have a conversation about that one. But because I couldn't afford that. But if there's a handful of people, or maybe I do need to cap it at some point. If we get to that point and we have that problem, then
yes,
then I'll worry about that.
But, and it's a good problem to have, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
You and I, luckily, we've been doing this a while. We're at the position that we can give back, and so are so many other people. Even while the job market sucks right now, lots and lots of layoffs in security, and that's a whole nother topic that is so worthy of a podcast. We can still do some good. And so, yeah, I've got a few people in my email that have already said, hey, can we get an exception on the ticket price? And yeah, of course, I've already, made that happen. So, and we'll continue to do so. Feel free to reach out to any of us that are on the contact us on bsidesstl.org.
Yep. Well, and like I said, I will absolutely pay again. I will might if I get a ton of people taking advantage of it, then we might have to have a different conversation. But I will absolutely pay for, if someone reaches out to me and says, hey, I want to go, I can't afford it. Can you cover it? Like, again, $25 isn't much. A lot of the times talking to other organizers of BSides, they don't need to charge because they usually get the sponsor money. But to your point, what you're talking about, they do it because more people will commit. There's tons of people that get free tickets and then just never show up.
Yep.
So $25 is kind of like a commitment to yourself. It's, it's one of those. I think some people do different things for life hacks where they buy a $2,000 gym membership, which is ridiculous, but they do it just so that they'll go and actually start working out. Right. This is kind of the same thing. $25 to go on I'm assuming it's on a Saturday.
Yep. Always on a Saturday. The kind of philosophy there is, this isn't the conference that your business is going to consider worth taking a day off of work for. Like, again, people that are connected, we get to do that. You and I were both at ShowMeCon earlier this year, and that kind of thing. Or, a bunch of people going to DEF CON Black Hat. It's part of their job. This is for the people that can't do that work the regular job, that don't get to take off a Friday or a Monday or Tuesday and go learn. You got to spend your Saturday doing it. And so we consciously make the choice to have it on the weekend. Some people are just like, well, I can't take off work for it, so I'm not going to go. And that's fine. Cool. This is for the people who are willing to, who they spend their free time doing this. They're interested and want to spend time learning more, connecting more, or they're connected and they want to give back. It's kind of the like I said, the sweet spot of our audience. And so it'll always be a Saturday. It'll always be, free to cheap for the reasons that we've mentioned, because that's the crew, that's the community that we are looking at serving, is helping be that step that, whether it's your first step or maybe you're getting into and you're starting to learn, you just aren't that well connected yet. That's who we want to help, so that they can learn some cool stuff, take it back to work, learn some cool stuff about what they need to be doing to do more, to get a different job, or to work on the side. You want to start bug bounty hunting. There's plenty of people that know kind of how to do that side hustle. Whatever you need to do more, to help more, to be more, that's what we want to provide. So always a Saturday. And it's a fun Saturday.
Well, and I've always said that the people you're going to see on a Saturday are kind of if you're recruiting or looking to network. It works both ways, right? Is if you're looking for a job, the people going to this conference that are in leadership roles are looking for people that are going to come on a Saturday and want to learn, and kind of give up a little bit of their free time. But that's how I started out, was going to BSides Charleston, then it was Nashville, and then I've been to several more. BSides Augusta is another one of my favorite ones. But going to these events allowed me to build my network, because you might see one person at one of these and then you'll see them at another one or a different conference. And then that's kind of how you start building it up to where you're walking around constantly just catching up with people.
Yeah.
And I will say too, it gave me opportunity. It's opened doors for me too, like later in the road. It's kind of investing now in something down the road. Cause not to say you're just going to find a job, but you have to start somewhere, and starting that networking, or even, I talk a lot about networking, but it is also like going to the talks. There's so many talks that you're like, holy crap, I hadn't thought about it that way. And so that's really crafted a lot of how I think, and also my understanding of a variety of different areas. I never really niched into one thing, which is fine, but you can certainly niche in, and you're going to usually find a talk that's going to have something for you.
Yeah, this year we've got some really cool, what I would consider, like you're talking about, those niche talks that are like, I don't know that this is going to benefit me specifically in my current role, but you never know what you're going to need later. I remember it was 2013 or 14. I was down at BSides Huntsville. Paul Coggin, back in the day, was running that, and these 3 high schoolers were talking about malware detection and fuzzy logic and stuff. And I had never been in that world. But they just opened my eyes to this thing that they had a passion for and built something really cool. And now it's almost ubiquitous. Like what they were doing way back when got adopted, and I don't know that they were ahead of the curve so much as they were learning it faster than most people were. And now it's again, it's the thing that deals with most of the malware we ever work on. And some of the things they talked about behavioral detection as opposed to signature-based detection. Not an area that I understood at all at the time, but then learning a little bit about what they did to detect things helped me write better malware as a pen tester. And then, when I moved roles into a defensive engineer, SOC type role after that, it really, gave me some foundational information that, it wasn't, one con talk isn't going to make you an expert, but learning just enough to know what to Google so that you can become an expert when you need to later, huge, so helpful. And I'm realizing I'm referring to those people as kids, and that was like 10 years ago. They're older adults now.
Yeah. Probably, going to a lot of these conferences as well too.
They are. I know they are. I know a couple of them were at show, at least one was at ShowMeCon. So yeah, it's crazy. It's just it's that continual, you don't want to get stuck, right? I don't want to be the guy, and I don't think most of the people in security want to be the guy who does the same thing for 20, 30 years. With all the AI stuff coming out, with changes in technology. I remember people telling me, oh man, SD-WAN, software-defined networking, that's going to be the death of us old networking guys. And it hasn't been. I mean, there's still cables to run, and there's still stuff to do, but there's always more to learn. And, I like just being around other people that want to learn more. B, I love helping them learn more. Like, here's the thing that I learned that was really hard so that you don't have to, here's kind of what to go for, what to do. And just that collaboration, that community of coming together. Again, it's not going to be the thing that changes your life, or maybe it will.
Yeah, I'll say BSides Nashville, I'd gone to one of the first ones. 2014 was the first year. And I was also in Columbia, South Carolina. So it was like a 7-hour drive. So I don't know what I was thinking.
That's the one you took pictures at, right?
Yeah, I took. Yeah, that's. Yeah, I found,
like,
I just reached out to conference organizers and was like, hey, can I come take pictures? And then I had like Ed Rojas, the organizer, go, hey, here's the photographer. I was like, I had no idea what I was doing. Like, I had media arts. I have a media arts degree. I was doing that on the side on top of working on an IT job, and like picture taking was interesting to me, and I had a nice, decent camera, and so I started bringing that, and that's actually how I got connected with a lot of people, because I'm shy as well too. So that might be a pitch for if you're looking to volunteer or you want to go take pictures. Yeah, and again, I just reached out, and just about every time I've reached out, people are like, oh yeah, no, it's fine. Like I did one conference too where they covered hotel and they paid me a little bit of money for travel. They asked me like what I charge, and I was like, I have no idea. I didn't realize this was a paid gig. But and B-side, that's not, that wasn't a B-sides, because the B-sides, again, a lot of it is volunteer. It's $25 to get in, right? Nobody's making money on these conferences, which is also great too, because a lot of the organizers are just like you, that are just really interested in sharing the wealth of knowledge that's out there, and making that connection. And that's where I was getting to the point of, I had no idea this was going to get me out of Columbia, South Carolina, into Nashville. I had a buddy in Columbia saying, hey, there's a open AppSec position in Nashville. Is anyone's interested? And I just graduated. I was like, yeah, I'd be interested. I'd be willing to move out to Nashville. Talk to the wife. She was willing to move out too. And it came to be that my hiring manager, one of the people that reported to her, was one of the organizers of BSides Nashville. So, and so there was a reference there, because I had done photography, and they did ask her about me, and I got, I don't know, it was Lauren, by the way.
I assumed
it wasn't a glowing review, but it was like, yeah, he showed up and did his job, which is, again,
hey, what is it that you're being paid to do? Show up and do a thing? It all comes to that.
And I didn't interact with her I didn't interact with her a little bit. But that's the thing. To that point, that's a story that, relates to what you're talking about, which is you just never know what's going to come of this stuff. And I've got, tens of stories like that, where I just connected with other people, or made really good friendships with other people, because we went to multiple things, right? And I'm still friends with them today, and I've seen them all grow up throughout the industry, which is cool in itself.
Same. And the thing that I kind of have in my mind, it's here's how to get what you might want out of your career, and it's working on those professional skills. I don't like to call them soft skills. Things like looking at people when you talk to them, how to run a meeting and keep it on point, how to kind of share knowledge and correct misunderstandings in a polite and useful way. Those are all things that, honestly, I didn't know how important they would be through my career. And doing conference work, first with Parameter and ShowMeCon and a company that we won't even name, doing some other conferences for them, and then running this B-sides has just really opened doors to give me the opportunities to work on those skills in a way that had less it was less scary, because I wasn't being paid for it. All I had to do was say B-sides charity, and this is what we're doing. So it gave me a very good thing there, a way to practice some of those those skills that they're not the hard coding skills, they're not the pen testing skills, they're not the malware detection skills, but they're still really important for everything else you do at work in security. That honestly, as I've done this and as I've gotten older, those are the skills that actually matter. I can train somebody real easy to run Nmap and give me a perimeter intelligence scan of exposed assets, but telling somebody how to shut up in a meeting and listen, way harder. And it's one of those, and you and I've talked enough. I ain't good at it either. I interrupt people all the time because I'm just so excited to talk about whatever we're talking about, and I have had to learn how to, not tamp down the enthusiasm, but properly channel the enthusiasm. And one of the things, that one of my stories that I love talking about for B-sides was learning the importance of using certain words. And I won't use names because I didn't get the chance to clear this story, but someone I highly respect and have seen at multiple B-sides, like you're talking about. He's a gentleman that works for a school district, and he's very happy where he's at. He's always getting to do really cool stuff, and he's just a great guy to talk to. And I said something to him after a talk. I was like, he was talking about some of the red teaming type stuff and how fun it was, or how red teaming stuff, and then the CTF. We always try to have somebody run a capture the flag. And I was like, oh, you're getting to practice those things you can't do at the school. And what I meant, in my super excited and oblivious way, was the school won't allow you to do stuff the way other businesses will. He's not paid to be a red teamer. He's an administrator. But he later was so courageous and told me 6 months later how what I said hurt him, because he heard that he can't do this thing, like he's not skilled enough. Not at all what I meant, but that didn't matter. What what I said hurt. And he was so courageous and so nice to let me know that I need to be careful about those things, and that words like that, can hurt people at conferences like this. And I was so glad he reached out. I reached out to him and just was like, I am so sorry for hurting you this way. I am so glad, and I respect what you do so much, because I was lucky enough to have a cool IT person at my school. That's how I got started in technology back in the 90s. I got to do a lot of cool stuff on the school network because of people like him. And I just gushed and really appreciated what he did. And he's come back to the conference every year since then. And we always hug and just like, hey, man, thanks again. I always want to be very humble and reminded that getting to do what we do and enjoy what we do is a rare thing in the world today. So many people hate their jobs, hate what they do, work for companies they don't want to work for, so on and so forth. But a lot of us in security, we are very, very fortunate to enjoy what we do, have fun with what we do, get paid pretty well, and be able to give back, like doing things for BSides.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, even just I would even just add on that if you want to interview, like learning how to talk to people is going to be huge, because you have to be likable. Like, I'd love to think that the interview is based on your credentials and but really it's, do they like you? That's what happens at the end of the day.
And learning to be liked for what you want to be liked about, and not be fake about it, not be ingenuous, disingenuous, whatever the right word there is. It's a skill like any other, and it's something you need to practice. You're not gonna dunk a basketball or hit a grand slam every time that you go up to bat or go to work out. I'm using sports metaphors. I usually don't, but
that's fine with me.
I know. That's why I use them, is because I can remember you do. You're not going to do it perfectly, but you're going to have a lot more chances. You're going to do better the more times you give yourself a chance to excel. Don't self-select yourself out of opportunities. I really like to encourage people, if you have any kind of thing that you're passionate about, please submit a talk to BSides. Our CFP is closed now, but I love reading through. And one of the things I look for is have you ever given a talk before at any conference, is one of the questions we ask. And I want to find the people that have never spoke anywhere else, because the BSides audience is so much more forgiving. And it's very much hey guys, this is something that so many people have talked about, but this is how I did it. This is how I learned malware analysis, or this is how I learned social engineering. And there may be a million other talks like it, but it's never going to be the same. And it's always going to be better when it's you and your story talking about it, and getting that experience of being on stage, dealing with that stress, putting together a presentation, making it understandable for a 45-minute talk with some Q&A. Again, skills that make you better at interviewing, better at running meetings, better at all those professional things that we need to do too, above and beyond our crunchy hard skills.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What are you expecting for attendance?
We always shoot for around 300, 350.
Okay.
We've had more than that pre-COVID, but especially post-COVID, conferences are just weird, man. It used to be much different, but ever since all of that happened, we just haven't had the attendance at any conference. And every conference organizer I talk to is feeling that. And especially in the economy today in the United States, not everybody's, willing to shell out to sponsor either. And so we're not expecting, 1,500 people like I would love to see, and we definitely have room for. But around 300, 350 is about our sweet spot, and that's what we've hit the past few years. Tickets are still selling. I don't have a cap on them because we have lots of room to the main room for the speaking is, they can handle about 250, 300 people before the fire code gets mad at us. But we've got all kinds of room to roam, and we've got the other things like our sponsor booths. We've got the Arch Reactor, which is our local maker space, coming to show off, if you've never soldered before, learn how to solder. We've got some lockpick stuff going on. CTF, I believe, is still happening. I'm not running that part of it this year, so I don't know exactly what's going on there, but there's all kinds of other things to do as well. And so, however many people show up, we're going to be happy to have them. We're still working on catering and whatnot. And I always, one of the topics I wanted to bring up is BSides has a history with alcohol, as some people would say. As somebody who has gone through some issues with that and come out the other side, we still like to provide drinks for people who want to indulge and enjoy that, but never with pressure. There's some conferences that for a while it was a whole thing to, make somebody take a shot before they give their first talk or things like that. We don't want that pressure, but we want to have that opportunity. So very likely there'll be an open bar for at least a few hours at BSides, because WashU, the local university that's hosting us, is welcome and open to those kind of things and that kind of gathering, just obviously within reason. So
that's interesting. Yeah, like I could think some of the bigger conferences where they do that, but I've never heard of it. Like, that's the thing I like about BSides, and I was going to bring up is and I imagine you're okay with people bringing kids.
Oh, absolutely. So love having little hackers run around. Again, when you have a business conference, and ShowMeCon is always what comes to mind. It's top of mind because Chronister and I are still friends and still talk a lot. The kids are not maybe right for that space. But BSides, while we're not all the way all about the kids, like a Hack for Kids conference, which if your audience doesn't know how awesome those are, look into it. They are just amazing for educating and inspiring young hackers. And I use that term, as a very general, not necessarily just computer hacking, not just penetration testing, but somebody who does something in a way that wasn't intended to be done, in my mind, is always the hacker. And so, bring the kids. I want high school kids to show up. Obviously, nobody underage gets any alcohol. More for me. But yeah, come break some things. Come run around. Come see what a college campus looks like, high schoolers. And yeah, we're always very welcoming for that. Every BSides that I've ever been to seems to be that way. Whereas, the more businessy conferences just can't. That's not their audience. That's not their intention. But we definitely are. Bring the kids.
Yeah, I was going to say, as I have two kids hovering around me right now, because they're not wanting to do the manual labor I asked them to do while I was doing this, is especially like a Saturday, right? People might have a babysitter or something.
Oh yeah.
And so I have been fortunate in that I didn't take them when they were younger, but when they were older and starting to get into some of that stuff, I absolutely brought them. And there was opportunities for them to learn how, one, they had like a Minecraft challenge and at BSides Nashville, and then they've learned how to like pick a lock.
Oh, dude. So my oldest, I took him to BSides Kansas City, which is, the opposite side of the state. It's a little more, I'm in St. Louis, they're in KC. They have some close ties with a lot of the medical industry because of who runs it, and McKesson is out there. So they do a pretty big show, and it's always amazing. They do a really good, they do a special badge that you can, partial sponsor when you've got the money to do it, and you get a really cool badge with challenges on it and all that stuff. But I took him out there. I was like, "Yeah, you want to go with me? Like, come on, man, we'll just road trip." And he did, and I can't remember if we stayed the night or if we just did the road trip all in one day. But he loved the lockpicking stuff, and they had a challenge where you had to do handcuffs, and in a tub of ice water. How fast could you do it? He probably did that challenge like 10 or 20 times. And the part that cracked me up was he was just, telling everybody that walked by, "Oh, I was able to do it like this. Can you?" And I'm just like, you little, bragging mini me. Because it's exactly what I would have done when I was his age. And it was a really good, bonding for me and him. It's just like, this is the stuff Dad does. Dad can't pick a lock like that because, it's just not my skill. But, here's the story of me getting into places without having to pick the lock, because you just got to talk to the guy with the key. Way easier. And yeah, we had really good talks about that. So it definitely can be that bonding thing. It can be just, it's a free, cheap, fun entertainment. Some of the people walking around, entertainment by themselves because of it's not like a cosplay or an anime or a Gen Con, but there's people that wear very interesting attire, whether they're goths or they're just the guy that wears the hat that has the Wi-Fi challenge on it and LED panels. There's always something. So yeah.
So I encourage people, if they have kids, it's an opportunity to bring them out, maybe get them exposed. And there might be other kids there too. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was just going to mention that it was family friendly.
Yes.
And then
even with a little alcohol in some of us, we are all still very family friendly. We have a code of conduct that's on the website, that basically comes down to don't be a dick. We very much encourage all of that and want everybody to feel welcomed and included and respected. One of the nice things about getting to do this and kind of just me personal project is I never realized how good I had it as a white boy growing up in farmland in Missouri. How very fortunate I was that, dad didn't have a great job, but we still had a family computer. My parents got along. Stuff like that. I didn't realize how rare that is sometimes. And I am doing everything I can to help those who were not quite as fortunate, who didn't get into IT and security at a young age and benefit the way that I have, getting to do it for so long. And they're just trying to better themselves. I want to help everybody get further along. My personal life goal is help people feel secure so they can sleep at night. Is what I want to see. And some of that is doing the security work that I do. Some of that is talking to people that I do. And some of that is helping BSides help get people to where they can also contribute to other people's security and safety.
Love it. Any other remaining thoughts about BSides or anything else you want to plug about the conference?
Come out, come check it out. Enjoy, tell us, we love the feedback. Tell us what doesn't work for you and what we could do better. I'm not going to guarantee that every feedback gets included in what we do, because we have a mission and we vision and values and how we're going to work things. But I'm always interested to see what other people think, right? I have this vision, our board has a vision, and we're just like, this is us doing what we can. We're always looking for what more could we do. The space hacking stuff is really big right now. The AI stuff is really big. And that's just an area that a lot of us don't have experience with. And I want to see what other people could bring. This has been a rebuilding year. We've had some changes in leadership and we've had some people burn out. And I want to help people get through that kind of thing and come and enjoy. So whatever we can do, reach out to me, reach out to all the different people on the website, and hopefully we'll see everybody there. And then once we get this event under the belt, I always say you get 2 weeks off to the planning committee, and then we start working on the next year. So as soon as we're done with this one, September 27th, a few weeks later, we'll be planning 2026.
Love it. All right. Well, Ben, thank you for joining me to discuss BSides St. Louis.
Oh, thank you, Tim. Really appreciate the opportunity. Always love hearing your stuff.